Welcome back. This week we're going to tie a pretty hen-wing spinner. I alluded to this one a couple of weeks back when I did the regular rusty spinner, and I said that I really don't tie this to fish it anymore, you know, for a shadow box, whatever it may be. These are beautiful flies. Functionally, they're not great. You get maybe 1-2 fish on them and then they're wrecked, and you know, you got 10 minutes of tying, 15 minutes of tying, however long it takes to make it look pretty. Gone. You know, tie them with the Z-long wings. They'll last a lot longer. But anyhow, we're going to go through this and we're going to tie a pretty fly if I'm still capable of it these days. I really don't care too much how my flies look anymore. You know, the streamers and the stuff like that, I get picky on details there, but mayflies, nymphs, I don't really care about imitating the details. I found out that it's really not all that important. But just to prove to everybody out there that I can still do it, I'm gonna. Oh my, I can still tie pretty flies. Just might take me a little bit longer on this one. I haven't done it for a while. So, to start with this, and I absolutely despise this stuff, we're going to tie this tail in with the Microfibetts. It's going to be a split tail. I hate working with this stuff. It's an absolute nightmare. It does look pretty though. It's a very clean look. So I'm going to go 1 1/4 to 1 1/2 times the length of my hook. I'm tying on Daiichi 1110 size 14. And I'm just going to bring this right to the back. Right to where my hooks start, or right to where my barb starts the ascent. I'm just going to peel this back slightly. Those got a little bit long on me. That looks good. So I'm going to tie this in, and then I'm going to go right around the bottom of this just to stand my wings up a little bit, or to stand my tail up. Now you can see it's running parallel with my hook. Everything's pretty clean there. And then I'm going to go ahead and split these. The spinners always have longer tails than what the adults do. So exaggerate your tails on your spinners. Son of a... Yeah. See why I hate working with this stuff? And it does absolutely nothing to the fish. Nothing. They don't care. Us fly tiers though, we get picky about our stuff. For sure. So there we go. We've got a nice split tail on this spinner. I'll pick this out and show you here in a second. I'm going to get right around here. Go one more wrap underneath. Kind of push this down. There you go. I'll get my hand behind this so it's really apparent. There it is. There's the nice split tail you can see. We got one going this way, one going that way. It's very distinct. To be imitative, this is important. Functionally, it doesn't do anything. If you have a hackle tail, it's more that you can put floating on. It's going to float better for you. This functionally isn't going to do anything, but like I said, we're not worried about functional. We're tying a pretty fly today for some reason. I swear I'd never tie these again. They just frustrate me. But I got a little bit of a bump here. I'm going to go through and clean this up with my thread wraps, just make everything sort of even. And there we go. Now if you want to get really fancy beforehand, you can go ahead and throw an egg sac on here on the back, just, you know, with like some yellow or chartreuse dubbing, whatever it may be, just to make it look a little bit fancier. I'm just going to touch it up with some with a marker, honestly. I mean, dubbing just takes a little bit longer, and then it's tough to get the taper and everything right to where it's a pretty fly still. So I'm trying to tie a pretty fly. I'm trying my best. Thank God I got out of this habit. So we're going to go ahead and tie in our turkey biot. This is going to be our body. And I goofed up a little bit there and didn't catch that one, but it'll all get covered up here in a second. So now I have two hen saddle hold on here, I'm trying to lengthen this out and think at the same time it's not working. So I have two hackles that I've picked out from a hen saddle. Sorry about that, I was in deep thought. So there's the hen saddle that I have. It's just a regular white hen saddle. Here's the two that I picked out. Made them look nice. You know, I mean, they're very close to, they're almost a perfect match. So I'm going to pick these out. And I'm going to lay this back over the length of my hook. And I want it just slightly longer than the length of the hook. That's just the gauge that I'm going to use. It's still a gauge that I use for my spinners, for my dry flies, for whatever it is. I always just try and measure it out, get the distance just about perfect. So then what I'm going to do is take these two, and I should have done this beforehand, and I'm going to lay them opposite of one another. Oh boy. This fly would have probably been done already if I weren't trying to do this one really fancy. So I'm going to lay them opposite of one another, so where there you can see the wings are just, it's easier for me to upright and divide them, easier for me to split them after I drop them, of course. So I'm going to go ahead and split those, peel back any remaining fibers that I have that just aren't wanting to cooperate, and right at my 2/3 point I'm going to go ahead and tie these in. Make your wrap nice and loose on the first 2 or 3, just real nice and loose. Do not pull down tight on these. It'll wind up spinning them right around the hook, and it's going to be really difficult to get them to cooperate later on. So go ahead and spin those right around, and at this point you can go ahead and stand them up and get some thread right in front of them. That way they are stood up. There you can see we have nice split wings on this fly, and just go ahead and move these forward just slightly so you're able to wrap this turkey biot. So I'm going to grab as much as I can with my hackle fibers, or with my hackle pliers, and I'm just going to start working this right to the front, one wrap right in front of the next. Really nice segmented, good looking body on this. Get in front there. What happened? I had one twist on me. Where did of twist. Oh boy. I don't think I've cussed yet. That's a plus. I don't think I've cussed yet. So we're going to bring this around to, there we go, things are starting to look pretty good. Don't pull too tight on this last one. We'll move forward just a little bit and good. There we go. We got the body tied off. Crisis is averted. We got our tail kind of still cooperating. Not 100%, but it's still kind of cooperating. We'll take it. And then the last thing that we're going to do on this fly is find our rusty dubbing. I could have tied a half dozen already by now if I weren't trying to make one pretty. It's still not the best looking fly I've ever tied, but before I put the dubbing down, I'm going to take these and I'm just going to split these wings and lay them spent. I'm going to lay these wings spent. Get these out of the way here. This is a long tutorial for a dang spinner. But there are some folks that really like to tie good looking flies. So they'll probably do a hell of a lot better of a job than I do. All these details for a spinner. 90% of the time when you're fishing spinners, low light conditions, and the trout really don't give a damn. Just get the overall profile down. So there it is. Those wings look pretty level. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of dubbing here. This is just super fine rusty brown dubbing. Ooh. And I'm just going to dub this as tight as possible, just to keep the profile down to where I don't have a ton of bulk. Wet my fingers a little bit there. And I'm going to work this right through, right where I left off with the turkey biot. And I'm going to take this right through here. Just going to figure eight this. Oh, you got to be really careful going through these because these wings are so finicky. If you touch one fiber, it's going to move things in a direction that you don't want it to go and just throw things off. I am so glad that I got away from tying patterns like this. I really am. So go ahead and just peel this stuff back. And there we have it. Minus 2 fibers that I have to trim. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and whip finish this. this pattern will be done. Thankfully. There you have it. There is the hen-winged spinner. Mine is taken. I'll just go ahead and do it. We've spent enough time on this already. I'm just going to take a chartreuse marker right where I left my white thread, and this is going to imitate an egg sac. I'm just going to touch this up a little bit. There you go. There it is, the hen-winged spinner. Like I said, a very, very good looking fly, just not very functional. These wings are so brittle, you get 1 or 2 fish in them, it's not going to look like this anymore. It's going to be a mess, and it's really tougher to float than it is with regular Zelon. But these things do look good, there's no denying that. And if you really want a sexy one up, you throw some CDC in there and you trim the CDC to where it's not necessary. It's nonsense. But some people like tying pretty flies. I used to be one of them. I used to try and make all mine look really good, but I probably could have tied a dozen, maybe at least a half dozen Zelon functional, good fishing flies in the time that it took me to tie this. So do what you want. If you want to tie pretty ones, this is how to do it. I don't recommend it, but if you guys have any questions, comments, let me know. Thanks again for watching, and I swear that I'm done tying with Microfibetts. I hate these things. File 13. Trash. We'll catch you next week.